Hey everybody, let's talk about combining shapes. Alright, so I have a object lesson that I want to show you guys. This is a 8mm Revere camera. I think it's like from the 1940s or 50s. And I actually did a photogrammetry model of this. So what we're looking at here is a 10 million poly model, roughly. And the reason why I chose this as basically as the reference that we're going to use to build out some parts is because this has some really nice examples of where you might have some primitives that you need to join together if you're doing like a high fidelity model. So you can see here like you have a cylinder, and then up here kind of looks like a cylinder with like a slope, and then that goes into like other pieces here, and you kind of have another cylinder type shape coming down this way, and so on and so forth. Now, any pieces that would be able to be detached or moved, those would not be modeled within the same housing. The housing of the camera is one thing, and then any piece that could be removed or turned would actually be modeled separately. So we don't have to worry about those, but if we want to model this whole thing out and make it look like a real manufactured part, we would need to take into mind like how do you join all of this geometry together, and how do you get the right bevels on it, and so on and so forth. So I just want to show, I did find this online. I found a picture of it, I should say, like a nicer one than mine. So this is, I don't know how old exactly this one is. I'm assuming it's probably the same one, but it's in way better shape. So if you wanted to, look that up, you can look up this actual model, Revere Model 88 video camera, 8mm. So pretty cool. Anyway, let's go into Maya, and I'll show you the decimated model, which I have referenced right now. So we'll go ahead. This is the decimated model. So I went ahead and decimated it down to 50,000 and baked out some textures. For some reason, it did this thing where it lit up the bottom. I don't know why. I haven't figured that out yet. But it's okay. I just wanted it as a reference, because what I'm going to do is build a bunch of primitives around it and then show how to combine some of these primitives. I'm not going to show every single, like the whole entire modeling of this entire thing. Maybe I will later. Maybe I'll do that. But I just wanted to basically use this as an example of how you can combine primitives together using like a reference and just building them out. So if I go ahead and get some of those other pieces out, I show you like some of the primitive pieces. Like for instance, like here's just a cylinder. Here was a box that I just kind of extruded some sides out to fill in and did a few bevels. I'll show this process later. Here's another primitive cylinder that I have in there. This is another one that I have slid into here. And then I always make a high poly version. That's one thing that we'll go into. I make a high poly version so that if we ever get, like if we're doing modeling and we kind of pull a point where we don't want it, we can use the high poly version to snap our points back to exactly where we want them. So basically, we lay out all the primitives and then we join them kind of in sections together, and then we go ahead and work out the topology, just kind of a piece at a time. Here's an example of like when I'm starting to really actually work out the final topology. This is closer to what it would look like. I'm not completely done with this piece, but let me go ahead and like show you when I hit 3 in the keyboard. You can see that this is, nice and smooth. The topology works all out together, and it's got these nice bevels in here. And this is basically the direction that we're eventually going, is like how can you basically make from primitives, join pieces together and make almost anything you want, and using a reference is actually just makes it easier to lay everything out nicely. So if you do have the means to get a camera and photogrammetry something, that's a fun little thing you can do. I could eventually like snap this whole process, like snap everything to the photogrammetry model and like bake the textures to it, but that wasn't really the reason why I was doing this. Wasn't to get like the exact representation. It was more just a modeling lesson. So let's get into the modeling of this, and we'll look at the next step in the next video.